Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my gorgeous Scorpios. This is going to be your August 2025 reading. I have a hard time saying it. August. Um, Being in the Northeast, that means that summer is ending soon. But, anyways, um, Scorpio. This is going to be for Scorpio's sun, moon, or rising. Definitely those who are intuitively guided for whatever reason. Like I don't even want to put a reason on it anymore. It's just you paying attention to your intuition, and you should be proud of yourself. What I feel is your spirit guides are nudging you, whether it be towards this reading or any reading. Um, but there's a reason. There's messages for you. You could certainly be in love with the Scorpio. I have a lot of platonic love in my life. My daughter being Scorpio on October 29th. And it's funny because a lot of you call me mama now, and I am honored to take on that role for you. Um, my brother, who is on November 6th, and I have to tell you, like, I just love Scorpio's energy. I just do. And it's not because of my daughter Jennifer or my brother Sean, though that's part of it. I just love your energy, period. Like if I could come back, if I come back, I'd want to come back as a Scorpio. I know. Anyway, um, so for anyone who's new, I just want to let you know that I always pre-shuffle all the decks. Even the decks that I may use, I just want to have them ready. And that is really my time to meditate on your sign, on your energy. And by the way, these are soul to soul readings, so you should feel this in your very soul. Um, but I wrote some things down because I was getting a lot of different information. The universe is helping you this month to really let go. Well, I feel like it's been more than this month, but this may be like that final month of letting go of emotional baggage. But it's so that you can move forward feeling so much lighter, so much lighter. In love, I feel like you're craving real connections, no games. If the vibe is off, honor this. So, you know, no games. Like, if it's love, I want it to be real. And I don't see you playing games. So, good luck to anybody comes in and tries to play a game with you. I don't feel like they'll get very far. Um, Also, a reminder that you're not everyone's sponge, that you don't need to be everyone's sponge, that you need to set some boundaries. You have the energy where people just naturally come to you. And this is not about turning away people who need some advice. This is like, don't take on their emotional baggage as your own. Don't take on their emotional baggage, period. If you can help, help. But I feel like that's where I draw the line. If I can't help, I can't help. Um, Music, music. And I was hearing all different types of songs, like from different eras. So I feel like I can't even pinpoint that. I mean, I was hearing, like music that my parents grew up on, my sister grew up on, I grew up on, my kids grew up. So I was hearing many different eras, but I feel like music is your healing zone this month when you can't. Mm, I was going to say figure something out, but usually you can figure it out. But just let's say you just need an escape. Music will be your escape. Um, I feel like music may even be the way your guides reach you in the month of August. Just one of the ways. Um, Now, if your mind feels heavy, which I have a feeling it does, write it down. And I know that sounds so simple, but I'm telling you, it works. Write it down. And it doesn't have to be in a like journaling, unless that's what you do. Um, but this is to get it out of you. This is so that you're not carrying it inside. It seems to be no need for it. So write it down. Think about the new moon. New moon is in what, Leo? Um, Good time to definitely set your intentions, but also like maybe whatever you're written down, good time to like, I was going to say, burn it, bury it. I don't know, whatever you want to do with it. Um, so there's a couple sayings that I feel like will be relevant this month. So I feel like your motto, you already know the truth. Trust your inner voice versus the outside noise. You already know the truth. That's your intuition. Trust your inner voice versus the outside noise. And last but not least, I trust my gut, speak my truth, and protect my peace with love and power. So it's like you're taking on the Empress's energy, which is beautiful. I trust my gut, speak my truth, and protect my peace with love and power. So I got quite a few messages for you. So much so that I had to write them down. But let's go ahead and now let's get into the cards. I'm going to bring the lid down. There we go. Of course, we're going to use our major arcanas for our bullet points. We will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up your reading. We're going to use the crystal vision to clarify and go deeper. And we are going to use the universal tarot for your main spread. King Pentacles was like giving me a hard time. Almost like he wanted to be seen. I don't know why I always say almost. I feel like he wanted to be seen. Kind of represent Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. I don't have to represent any of that. It may be asking you to look at the big picture this month. Instead of breaking it all down, just look at the big picture. That may help you also with stress. So let's go ahead and open up your reading. Well, it's already open, but let's bring in the tarot portion of it. All right. Okay, well, that wants to come, and they want to come. So we shall take them. All right, we got a few. Got three. Uno, dos, tres. Beautiful. Which is actually a number three, optimism. This reminds me of the Three of Wands. And I love the saying, let's change your motto to, I expect good things to happen. And they do. Optimism. I expect good things to happen. And they do. God. I step out of the way and surrender any need for control in order to make room for God's healing love to flow through me and this situation. I feel like what this really means is the things that you just cannot control. Don't try to control them. That leads to frustration, and more. It leads to what I feel is like the Eight of Swords, the Nine of Swords. So, God's like, I got this. And then, beautiful prayer. Instead of worrying, I pray about this situation to bring about real solutions. Well, I should have just kept my mouth quiet and read the next card. That's kind of beautiful, though. I expect good things to happen, and they do. God says, step out of the way. Don't try to control the things that you just can't. Put them in my hands. I can. And then prayer, the power of prayer. Um, and it feels like prayers are being answered. Maybe what it's asking for is the more you can believe in that, the more optimistic you can be about whatever it may be. Um, well, I feel like your prayers are going to be answered one way or the other. So, like, I don't want to put anything negative on that. All right. Let's see if we can put well, actually, I'm going to put them away, but I won't forget. I won't forget. All right. Let's bring in the major arcanas. I have to tell you, my room, um, I'm burning white candles, which I always love burning white candles during a reading. Um, but one of them has a scent and it just, smells glorious. All right. We have the strength card. Card of Leo. Strength card is our inner being. We have the magician. Interesting. And magician's looking over the strength card. There may be something that some of you are trying to overcome. And it feels like it would be like internal battle. I'm saying battle, that might be a little strong. But it is about finding, the strength card is about finding balance within yourself. It's the recognition that we all carry that beast within us, but we have power over that. There's times we need it and times we don't. But the magician is looking right back at the strength card. And also, you can see this person has the infinity symbol as their goggles. So, as above, so below. No beginning, no end. And then magician following. Well, the magician, I feel like, is one of our greatest mentors. If you follow tarot, then the Fool is the new beginning, the next chapter. But then the first person the Fool meets is the magician, and the magician really is the mentor, teaching the Fool that you possess everything you need to be successful. There may just be something within that could be playing a part between a new beginning or manifesting a new beginning. Let's keep going. All of a sudden I'm feeling for some of you, the strength card might not even be you. It might be another, like someone else's energy, where they themselves have to, well, they don't have to, but it may be them who needs to learn to tame their energy in a way. Okay, I'm going to put this on hold 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I have my door open. And normally I don't hear the phone ringing, but it was weird. Not weird. I shouldn't say weird. But it was a minister that I had met, that Sam and I had met when he was going into that surgery. And he's still like going through a lot of suffering, all in his midsection, and no one can figure out what it is. So interesting that this minister just called. Okay. Anyways, let's get back. We have the star. Beautiful. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes sitting right next to the magician. Scorpio, that's powerful. Slide these over just a little bit more. That's powerful. Oh my. Hello, lovers. Well, the one thing I can say about your reading is it never disappoints. The lovers, the star. And then last, but certainly not least, judgment. Your spiritual team. What are they doing? They're calling you to the present moment. There's a sign or signs that they want to send you. It can relate back to prayers, and this could be some prayers being answered. The meaning is a head over heart decision, but it's definitely chemistry. And maybe that's who I felt in the strength card where, I'm not going to say that there's nothing within yourself that, I can't look at, and just how I was picking up before I even started the reading, about letting go of emotional baggage. And what you're doing is you're making room for the new by doing that. And I feel like that's exactly what your spiritual team is also asking for. This is quite a great omen. You have judgment calling you to the present moment. You have the magician who is always in the present moment. You have the star right in the middle. This is about you manifesting some dreams. This person in the star is definitely swaying towards the lovers. But there just seems to be, unless it's a Leo for some of you, I shouldn't leave that off the table. But I don't know. I'm picking up like maybe one little thing. All right. Well, let's go ahead and bring in the universal tarot and let's go deeper. See what's going on with these lovers. Are you trying to manifest them? Or not them, a person? Or just a love? Maybe I don't even need to put a name to it yet. Cupid is up there, influencing the lovers. That's always a good sign. All right. Jeez, I have goosebumps already. And we just begun. All right. I'm definitely going to be looking for mirroring energy. Oh my gosh. Hello, Ace of Pentacles. Okay. So let me say something real quick. All the information this is why I tell you, don't don't skip the intro, because this is where I feel like your guides are really speaking to me. And that part about the clearing of emotional baggage. But it's really, so how do I say this? Well, again, it's like a symbol to the universe that it's like cleaning out the closet, right? It's like if I kept everything I've ever owned and tried to squeeze it in a closet, I'm sending the universe a message saying, I don't need anything new. I can't even keep what I have. But if I clean out that closet, well, then that is a symbol to the universe that I am open for the new. I have room. I have made room for the new. And I'm saying that because I feel like this Ace of Pentacles, it feels major. Now, the Ace of Pentacles means something is coming into your physical world. It can certainly be money, helping hand. It definitely gives you the way to what? I feel like for whatever it is that you want to do. This means, again, literally something coming into your physical world. Could it also be the lovers? Maybe. Or the other lover. And this ace, I feel like it starts as a seed. You'll notice it. But then it's your nurturing that allows the seed to just grow and blossom and throw off new seeds. It's like your intentions, right? Like I have certain intentions maybe for my money, and I'm going to put my intentions out there. But maybe I also have intentions as it relates to love. Well, I'm going to put those intentions out there. Everyone is listening to you. I mean, everyone is listening. Not only listening, but boy, does this feel like a prayer answered. And sometimes I don't even know I'm praying this prayer, if that makes sense. Okay. Judgment, I just realized, is mirroring the strength card. So, what I want to say is this is a great time to just really kind of reevaluate your life, but not in a like, I'm going to change it all, unless that's what you want. But evaluating, how can I, like, what can I do for my life to get better? And I'm saying that because judgment mirroring the strength card, though I do feel for a lot, it's has to do with this other lover, but it can also have to do with you. So there may be something that feels unbalanced that you have the power over. That's the beauty within the strength card, is you do have the power over that. Doesn't mean it's easy, but my God, I feel like the rewards of that are tremendous. And I mean that just in your own life. But I also feel like divine definitely takes notice of that. All right, let's take what's face up first. And we have the Hierophant. Look at those keys. 2 sets of keys. It's like the keys to the kingdom coming through the Hierophant's energy. This is about your belief system, your faith, your morals. It's interesting because it reminds me of what I wrote earlier, where I don't feel like, excuse my language, that you're taking any bullshit. And I feel like if this is relating anything to love, then I get the sense that it needs to be clear. Because I just don't feel like you're going to play anyone's games. Maybe I've been, but enough. Like, I feel like you've had enough of it. Now, this isn't a negative card at all. It's quite the opposite. And again, it relates right back to Mother Mary's cards, right? God, and then your prayers. And it is a 5, so it is about a change. And it's kind of beautiful. The Ace of Pentacles is right before it. And then look at this, the 10 of Wands. Well, this I would want to change. This can talk about that feeling of like everything is on your shoulders. I'm going to use my daughter for an example. Though, some people think that I'm only reading for her. I'm not. I'm reading for everyone. But I am going to use her for example. Her being a single mom, all the responsibilities are on her shoulders. But this ace coming in, it feels like it's relieving that. It's like a helping hand. I also want to say the Ten of Wands, a lot of people fear that energy, but for some of you, it could definitely be laying the groundwork before you bring something to the world. You know, this person, if you look at them, you can tell like they had to mend their pants. Why? Because their muscles are growing. So through these probably difficult lessons and experiences, you've really grown on a spiritual level. So I don't want to look at this and be like, oh, woe is me, though I get it. It's more about being proud of who you are. You know, it is kind of like trying to push a boulder up a hill. But I feel like that's going to change. Well, hello, change. My gosh, the world, your next chapter. And the Fool is right in the middle of it. The Fool with the magician's, or the Fool's greatest mentor, the magician, already out on the table. The guidance. You know, this talks about the completion of something. Well, coming right next to the Ten of Wands, thank you very much. I'll take it. Then it's the opening, the beginning. Well, I want to say of the rest of your life. You know, as the Fool, we do want to take a leap of faith. But boy, does it feel like difficult times are ending. You know, I can't promise you that everything is going to go away, but maybe even the way you're handling it is maybe with more power. And therefore, it's like people are taking you serious. You know, this Ace of Pentacles is for you, period. All right, well, let's keep going. It's kind of interesting that the Lovers is connected to the World, which is your next chapter. So that makes me feel like the Lovers are coming along for the ride, or they're going to be part of this next chapter. Interesting, I'm seeing this lion and this lion, and this is really like what you've overcome. So, whatever that strength card is for you, and again, the inner beast, you know, it can talk about like tempting type of energy. It can talk about, you know, how I handle situations. You know, like I could see something difficult happening. Instead of dealing with it, I pour myself a glass of wine. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but one glass might turn into two glasses, and then the problem that I sat down to solve never gets solved. So, you know, and I'm just using that as an example. Okay, well, let's keep going. We have the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords can be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But look at this Queen. Look what she's doing. Look at her hand right there. I often call or say this person is giving a mic drop. Like they're speaking their piece clearly. No hesitation. And then I'm dropping the mic. There feels a sense of certainty within this energy. I do feel this is you. I just feel like it's another part of you. You know, the one thing I want to remind you though is Mercury will be going into retrograde. So, you know, we do need to think about, I mean, we don't have to, but, you know, conversations can go haywire. But then if we stop and be like, wait a minute, isn't Mercury in retrograde? Because you cannot take back those words. But I feel like these words, you have no interest of taking back. Like it literally is like speaking your piece, mic drop. I feel like you're literally cutting out the fat. I feel like you see your future in a certain way, and those who just don't seem to fit in that mold, like you're cutting the fat. I'm not saying that you're going to be rigid, you know, like it must be my way or the highway. You know, I feel like you would have a hard time with that, to be honest, because you're so loving. But this queen is speaking her piece, and your spiritual team is backing you up. And it may be that actual speaking of your piece that ushers in this Ace of Pentacles, because it does feel like she's closing a door as she drops that mic. Mm-hmm. All right, let's keep going. It's getting hot in here. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run, dun, dun. All of a sudden, a song came to my head. I'm never gonna let you down. I'm never gonna. Can't think of the next words. Even the artist, I know it's Rick something. Never gonna let you down. I'm singing that, and I know I sing terribly, but I'm singing that song because I feel like that relates to someone. All right, let's keep going. We have the Three of Pentacles. Well, how beautiful under the Ace of Pentacles. This is all about your individuality, who you are as a person, your abilities to create whatever you want to create. This is really about other people admiring that too. It's kind of like a quiet admiration. Interesting. I just realized, what is that? Like the Pope and a priest. Interesting. And I just had a minister call. I don't know why. I've never noticed that before. Some of you, this may talk about spiritual work that you're doing, a spiritual calling. But if that's the case, again, it's like the universe is giving you the way through the Ace of Pentacles. And then, well, hello, your major arcana, the Death card, transformation, mirroring the Magician, coming under the Hierophant. You know, it just feels to me like, again, morals, life plans. And I feel like you are becoming more and more confident within, let's say, your life's plan. Okay. I'm not really sure that's the way I meant to say it. Well, Okay, let's put it this way. I feel like you are becoming clearer and clearer about how you want your life to look, be. And this is not just like fantasy, but how I really want it to be. I love that you are mirroring the magician. You know, it's power. Like I feel the power in this reading. Feel it. Interesting, we have three energies that talk about present moment, judgment. This is where I'm going to send your signs. That trumpet is blowing its horn right at the lovers. The world means a new chapter is ready to open. We don't have to wait for 2026 to open up the year of the magician, which is what it will be. And especially because I feel like you are doing like this final clearing of emotional baggage, and that's probably what that mic drop is about. You're transforming your life, yourself, and therefore, it's like you're making this universal statement that only certain energy can come along for your ride. I love the Ace of Pentacles, it's like a card flip coming above the Three of Pentacles because it's really talking about you, your creativity, what you do in the world. But it feels like it can be a promotion. It could be a new job. You may be following the money, like someone may offer you more money. So I decide to go that way. Or you may find yourself in a promotion in your own job, like in a job you work now. And I'm going to say for a few of you, you may be quitting a job and starting your own business. I feel like any of them are all good news. All right. We have, well, hello, Ten of Pentacles versus the Ten of Wands. And then the Knight of Swords, mirroring the lovers under the world. But let's not skip over that Ten of Pentacles, the House of Abundance. How interesting. It's like you're switching energy. Ten of Wands, for some of you, it feels like groundwork. It feels like, Ten of Wands is not easy energy. Again, it is like pushing a boulder up a hill. And I often feel the person in the Ten of Wands is like, just give me a tower already. But because it's connected to the star, I feel like there is a lot to learn from the Ten of Wands, but not just a lot to learn. I feel like if the Ten of Wands, again, the situations you have found yourself in, the energy that you yourself has cleared, and maybe you're at the final stages, and maybe that's why it's at a 10. Like, it's not easy. We all know that. But to manifest, truly to manifest, we do want to be in a certain type of energy. And if you've been laying groundwork for anything, and I'm just using the word groundwork for a lack of a better word right now, again, judgment, noticing that. But it is to help a dream come true. And how about the Ten of Pentacles? How about the House of Abundance? The house that truly takes root. And, I often feel in the Ten of Pentacles or the Ten of Cups that you're not alone. But I don't feel like you need anyone to create the 10 Pentacles. It's just, I often feel it's like coupled energy. Maybe it's those keys that the Hierophant's hanging on to. And you're right underneath those keys. And the only double symbol we have right now is the Lovers. All right. Let's keep going. The Emperor. Dun, 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 dun. The Emperor. First, card of Aries. Can be a father figure. Some of you may have had it with a father figure. It might be putting them in their place. But can I tell you, for the majority of you, I feel like this is the ability to take that Ace of Pentacles, and build a successful business for yourself. Or, the Emperor is the leader of the people. And you're a great leader, Scorpio. You do lead with empathy and compassion. Just who you are. Some of you, this is not a father figure where you're like giving your final piece. Then it feels like this is about, well, let's just say your money multiplying. But I often feel the Emperor is a business owner, a leader. This is someone who, interesting how I told you to write down like anything of an emotional nature that you want to clear. Well, it's funny because the Emperor is very meticulous. And I feel like the Emperor is always writing down plans. So this may be a sign for some of you to write down what you're thinking, because you never know where it's going to lead. This Emperor is also mirroring the Three of Pentacles. So your creativity. And then we have the Six of Swords. Well, I have to say, that makes sense. Because it's exactly what I felt in the beginning. I'm just not taking anyone's bullshit anymore. I'm just not. If you are toxic, if you carry energy that is going to work against me, you have no room in my life. I feel like you are clear on this. Six of Swords is about moving on. But what are you moving on from? Well, you got to go back one card. Five of Swords. Toxicity. Untruths. Like, can I trust you? All that. Because why? Because I feel like it's either clear or it's not. And if it's not, then it's my sign to keep on moving. That's how clear I feel like you're going to be this month. And again, not in an ignorant way, but in a powerful way, for sure. How do I love the Ten of Pentacles mirroring the star, but not just the Ten of Pentacles mirroring the star, then you have the Lovers next to it. It's like it's covering all areas of your life. Now, the Lovers, the meaning of the card is a head over heart decision, and it probably will be that. And for some of you, you may be making that final decision. But I don't want to look at the Lovers as anything negative because I don't feel like it is. I feel like it's the potential of probably what's going to be because it's still in a dream state, so to speak. But yet, I still feel like you're actively manifesting it through the Magician and even the Fool. You know, the Fool, even if you know who might be the other lover, the Fool represents brand new energy, free and clear, unencumbered. It is about taking a leap of faith, but I feel like your guides will be very clear because as I say, take a leap of faith, I also feel this sense of I want to know. Now, you know, of course, if this is talking about like a new relationship or even an old relationship that has a new chance or a new opportunity, it is about putting the past in the past. It is about learning of the lessons. And, if forgiveness is needed, then it's needed. If, but I don't even know why I'm saying that because, again, I'm not feeling anything negative. And then we got the Knight of Swords marrying the Lover as well. It talks about some type of communication coming in. It's coming in quick, and he's heading towards the Ten of Pentacles. Certainly can be someone bringing in opportunity because they have seen your work, because they appreciate who you are on an individual level. Almost like someone who, like, I go to work, I put my head down, I do my job, and I do a damn good job. And I don't get involved in any bullshit or any drama. I put my head down, I do my thing, and I create results. Well, someone may be noticing it. This emperor could also be your boss. But if it is your boss, then I feel like a raise is coming. And if it's not, you may even be saying that in your money. Like, I don't make enough, I need more. But I don't feel like you're saying it in an aggressive way. That's the thing. Whatever the mic drop is about, I don't feel like it's aggressive. I feel like it's honest. And that's that. Like if anyone has anything to say beyond that mic drop, boy, they better be telling you the truth. Because if they're not, they're out the door. That's how clear I feel you're going to feel. Write down any old emotional baggage and get rid of it. Write down your intentions and keep that. Matter of fact, highlight it. Read it every day. Even the motto that I wrote for you, I trust my gut, speak my truth, and protect my peace with love and power. Well, I can see that all through here. And up here, you already know the truth. Trust your inner voice versus outside noise. Well, that would be this queen. That would be you. Sometimes people watch a reading and they're like, how can I be both Scorpio and the Queen of Swords? Well, because I feel like we are everything. We are a little bit of everything. Our birth chart may say we don't have a certain sign, but we are all connected. All right, let's look at the bottom of the deck. Hello, Empress. I don't know why, but I'm not surprised. And the Emperor. And for those who have followed me, you know when the Empress and the Emperor show in a reading, they are my power couple. They get each other. They're different, but alike. They have the same ultimate goal, but may go about it in different ways. And neither one is wrong. Look at that. The magician under the Empress. You are the Empress. There's no doubt in my mind. No doubt. And that puts a whole new layer on the lovers. Let's just put it this way. If someone wants to be with you and you set boundaries, not walls. You didn't create walls. Remember, the Empress doesn't need like the Eight of Swords. She doesn't need a self-created prison. Though I do want to say, I feel you are going to enjoy your alone time this month. Like, I do feel some of you, let's say you get home from work, I see you kind of retreating where I kind of don't want to talk to anyone. But that's okay. I feel like it's just the energy. All right, let's bring in the crystal vision. Let's go deeper on this beautiful reading already. You know, everything here is really so positive. The only thing that is, let's say, maybe a little difficult would be the Ten of Wands. But look what it's turning into, the Ten of Cups, or the Ten of Pentacles. All right. Why'd you have to mess my cards all up? All right, let's start at the beginning. But let's read it as a whole. All of a sudden, I'm thinking, did I push start again? Yes. Thank God. All right. You know, I find it difficult when I get a reading like this where I can see the beauty of it. I can see the real potential of it. How do I title it so that you know? Well, okay. So my spirit guide just said, you'll know. You'll know. No worries, Sandy. Just keep moving. Scorpio. How is the Ten of Cups for you? How about the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles? You don't think you can manifest that? It's telling you that you can. But because you're being so clear and honest, this cannot just be anyone. Now we know it's the lovers. And it's over the Ace of Pentacles. Wow. If this Emperor and Empress are connected in any way, then I would expect nothing less than the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. And then we have the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is that fine art of give and take. It's really learning that fine art, right? What's balanced. It's fine to be the giver, but you also have to learn to receive or expect to receive, especially as it relates to love. But this is very compassionate and empathetic energy. And I know it's you. And it's coming over the Hierophant, but you're right below it. And it's connected to the Magician. It almost feels like a karmic reward. You know, I'm not saying you're perfect. But what I'm saying is, I feel like you've grown so much. Doesn't mean everything is like, you know, easy peasy. But in the same breath, I don't feel anything fighting this energy. I feel like part of what you've learned, remember I said about being careful who you give your energy to? Well, Six of Pentacles is about giving your energy, but this is because you want to help. And I love it's coming over the Hierophant because I feel like it's very honest. Like when you say you want to help someone, you truly want to help them. But at the same time, it's also touching the Strength card. And let's just say, if this is someone else's inner beast that they need to learn to tame, then they have to learn that. Boy, part of me feels like it must have already happened. You know, the Emperor and the Empress are both very empathetic, both very compassionate, both want to help the world. Or, you know, I say the world, but it could be one person. You know, one person. But that person may go on to help another person. And then that person may go on to help another person. We have the Hangman. Slow down, you move too fast. Don't you want the night to last? Hangman, dang it. Is seeking wisdom. Seeking wisdom to use on this spiritual plane. Hangman is a pause in the action. But there's probably a reason why. You know, does kind of feel like it's putting a dream on hold. But maybe there is a need for some type of completion first. And then we have the Hermit. Well, we're in the year of the Hermit. And it's interesting it's coming over the world. And again, it is that clearing of, let's just say, the last emotional baggage. You know, this is something we should get used to doing. Like, every once in a while, just stop, take a look at your life. What's working? What's not? Where am I giving my power away? Why? The hangman is, or the hermit is about spiritual clarity. And it's interesting because that's exactly what the hangman is seeking. Spiritual clarity for this earthly plane. Well, this hermit has emerged from the cave. That means I'm no longer in, let's just say, this deep reflection. And I often feel the hermit is also a healer, which I feel like is naturally your energy anyway. The hermit is the card of Virgo, by the way. And by the way, Virgo and Gemini, two energies of Mercury. So just be careful with Mercury going into retrograde. I wish I knew the date. Something is telling me the 7th, but I really have no clue. But something is telling me the 7th of August. But I don't know. I feel like the hermit, I call the hermit my wise old soul. And, the Ten of Wands, I feel like is part of what the hermit was reflecting upon. But again, it's about noticing one's growth, but also noticing what needs to go, what needs, cutting out that extra fat. It's like slimming down your life. If you're seeking spiritual wisdom, well, judgment is right here to give it to you. So I don't feel like the hangman will be in the hangman position for long. Probably have already been in the hangman position. And now we're coming closer and closer to moving out of that energy. So jumping into the fool's energy. We have the Page of Cups over the Queen of Swords, the High Priestess over the Three of Pentacles and the Six of Swords, and then the Three of Swords over your major arcana, the Death card. Well, there's no way I feel like this is saying that the Three of Swords is coming. I feel like this is what you've had the realization over. And connected right to the Six of Pentacles. I don't know, it's hard for me to say this because I feel like I want you to be who you are. And I just get this sense of those who can't recognize the beauty of what you are. And I'm not talking about skin deep, I'm talking within. It's like looks have nothing to do with this, in a way. Remember, the lovers is chemistry. It just is. So I feel like that's one of the lessons you've learned, like giving, but not receiving, right? Like I'll give to you, but you aren't receiving, which caused broken heart. Three of Swords talks about loss, but the High Priestess is right here. That's your intuition. That's what you want to pay attention to. For some of you, because the Page of Cups is here, which I totally feel is your inner child. And by the way, I love that it's mirroring the Ten of Cups. It feels like your playful self, like the old you coming back to the surface. Like you feel free to be exactly who you are. No excuses. Man, this is a powerful reading. But it's you who has the power. All right, let's keep going. We'll come back and look at that Three of Swords if we need to. But I do feel that that is the reason. Some of you, there could be 3 people you're dealing with or have dealt with. Again, Three of Swords is coming over your major arcana, which is all about transformation. It is about closing doors, but that's what allows this new door to open. Ten of Wands is ready for that new door. And yeah, let's put the Three of Swords behind us if we can. We have the Seven of Wands, though it did show in reverse. Interesting. This may be good advice with Mercury going in retrograde, and we're seeing Mercury's energy so much. Seven of Wands really is about standing your ground, but it can become defensive type energy. You know, it can be fighting. It can be. But I feel this sense of trying not to put a lot of resistance around you. Or let me put it another way. Let's say someone just starts an argument with you for no reason, out of out of the blue. Number one, it could be Mercury retrograde. But number two, I feel like just be careful. Like, don't get pulled into their drama. You know, once you have that mic drop, let that be. Like, I already gave you the mic drop. And for some of you, that mic drop might be saying to who's ever in this other lovers, like, deal with your shit as I've dealt with mine. And then we can talk about our future. You know, I do get the sense also, some of you may have been single for a little while. But listen, I feel like there's purpose behind that. I feel like you and let's just say your career or anything you're building, I feel like that is just as important as love. Just as important. Like one doesn't take a back seat to the other. Not in your mind. And I get it. Because I feel like, I don't know, I just get the sense I'm tired of dealing with issues. I'm tired of dealing with people. I'm tired of just any bullshit. And I'm just literally not going to take it anymore. You know, if you are bold enough to do the reflection, well, then so should anyone else who wants to be a part of your life, if they need it. But I don't want to keep talking about the past because I feel like the Page of Cups is bringing out your inner child, that playful part of you, that romantic, fun-loving part of you. And it just so happens to be mirroring the Ten of Cups. Even the High Priestess right below it, your intuition. So, you know, I feel like you're going to know, you're going to feel anything that's coming towards you, if it's of, let's just say, of the same vibration or of a lower vibration. If it's of a lower vibration, I feel like it should keep on moving. All right. I don't know why I keep putting the cards down. We have the Three of Cups. Well, that is the energy of joy. And the meaning of the card is a reason to celebrate. And it is mirroring the Lovers. I just feel like there's someone that really enjoys, like, I just want to say your inner child, like your playfulness, your laughter, like the sound of your laughter. You know, when you are happy, then I feel they are happy. And when you are sad, then they are sad. Interesting. So this knight, which many have heard me say, when a knight shows up in a reading, I feel like a knight will complete their mission from hell or high water. And mirroring the Lovers, a head over heart decision. You don't have to say yes, but I don't see you really saying no either. It is like your energy is literally changing, and therefore so is your life. We have the Devil, card of Capricorn, over the Emperor. We have the Page of Wands. I like that. 2 pages. But I call this page my little risk taker. And look at this, another page. Page of Pentacles. So each page talks about certain things. Page of Cups, I feel like, is our inner child, our inner playfulness, our inner joy. And remember how I said, I forget what I wrote again, your inner voice versus the outside noise. This Page of Pentacles could be a younger version of someone, but the Page of Pentacles really speaks about a path of knowledge, path of growing. And for some of you, really, if this is well, some of you, it is also related to your money. So it feels like you're ready for, let's just say, the next level. My risk taker, my learner. All right, well, wasn't going to go underneath, but since we've already begun, let's continue. Eight of Wands. What I think about, I bring about, and it's mirroring your star. And it's coming over or under the Ten of Pentacles. What I think about, I bring about. This is also fast moving energy. It is full of passion. Whether it's a passion for a project, a product, or a project, or a passion of another, or all of the above. It really is like the law of attraction, and it is mirroring your star. So, what I think about, I bring about. But am I ready? I feel like you are. Oh my God. Hello, lovers mirroring the lovers. With the Three of Cups and the Knight of Swords and the World. Holy cow. What I love is the lovers are mirroring each other. To me, that means that they must be pretty close to the same vibrational energy. You know, when I see, again, the Emperor and the Empress, and it's relating to love, and it's not the only thing it's relating to, but because I also feel like you're giving this mic drop, like you know what you want. And I feel like, and you know the way that it needs to be. And I just find it interesting that the lovers are mirroring each other. And everything around it is really of a happy nature. There's like nothing I feel I have to worry about. And even the Eight of Wands right before it, what I think about, I bring about, boom, there comes the lovers, mirroring the star. What I think about, I bring about. Wow. You know, this is one of the reasons why I just love doing your readings. Look at this, the Nine of Cups, inner harmony, and fulfillment of wishes. Could the ticket be all along that me finding inner harmony is what opens up the door to the rest of my life? It's stating you are feeling good first and foremost. This does not mean that everything in your life is going perfect, but it feels like it's a hell of a lot better. What am I holding? The Nine of Cups. And remember, the Nine of Cups is not just about inner harmony. You know, this hermit, this reflection, this emotional baggage that I asked you to write down, and then if you choose, like burn it under the new moon, but clearly setting your intentions of, you know, even what Mother Mary sent out, prayers are being answered. You know, sometimes our prayers are answered differently than we pray them, but always better. Wow. Fulfillment of wishes. Well, you have, I don't even know what more you could wish for. The Ten of Pentacles feels like after a period of time of struggle, and for some of you, the struggle of like getting everything into plan, into place, but now is the time to bring it to the world. But also those who've been struggling just to get by, I feel like something is going to happen. Like you're either going to get a promotion or a new job offer. And again, some of you may decide that you're going to do your own thing. You're going to be the boss. Now, you could also be the boss and still work for the man or woman, but your ideas are valued, very valuable. And know that about yourself. Because I do feel that, like, if I work for a company, let's say, I feel you go in, you put your head down, and you get to work. And you do one hell of a good job. And someone is taking note of that. Where there is drama, you're refusing to be a part of it. I'm here to get my job done. That's that. So I could see you dropping a mic at work. I could see you dropping a mic in love. You know, if what I think about is what I bring about, and part of that is the lovers, well, maybe I want to keep my options open to who this just might be. I don't know if I've been giving you signs or not, but do have double Gemini on the board, Aquarius, Leo, um, Taurus, and I'm not really looking at the lower arcanas. What was I doing? I was giving you signs. Aries, Capricorn, and then we're back to Gemini again. But other than that, kind of forget that. I want to remind you that the Emperor has the Magician right below her. That means connected to her. And look at that, the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is right in line with the Magician. You know, I feel like you've been learning so much. You are learning how to raise your own vibration. And sometimes that does mean cutting out the fat. Almost always means that. You know who you are. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It's almost like, do I even want to take any cards? And I love that the Nine of Cups is mirroring Judgment. So it's like your spiritual team is saying that what we offer next will bring you inner harmony, but also start answering some of these prayers, some of these affirmations that you've been putting out there, and now the answering of them. I don't even know what to look at. I don't know what to look at. I'm feeling like everything just makes so much sense. So let's do this. I want to remind you that you have the Ten of Cups coming over the Ace of Pentacles. That means it's literally coming into your life, or the potential of it. I say potential because the Lovers is ahead of her decision. You're going to ultimately make that decision. But let's not forget that Ace of Pentacles is also relating back to the Ten of Pentacles. So, business ownership, leaders, promotions, feeling good within your money. I have to say that alone, I feel like helps you breathe. Like all of a sudden I get the sense of like, I haven't been able to take a deep breath. All right. Because I really don't know what card, I really just don't feel like anything needs clarified. I'm just going to go right across the middle for any further messages. And let me tell you, because I feel like you naturally carry the Empress's energy. It's just now gaining the power of the Empress. Part of what the Empress has learned is who to give to and who not to give to, right? I'm all about helping, but helping in a way that I know it's going to uplift your life, not helping in a way that's just going to keep you doing the same old, same old. So it's not that you are done helping people. But remember, again, I even wrote down, don't become people's sponges. Okay. The Emperor again. And look at this, the Four of Swords. Healing. You know, the Four of Swords. First of all, we do have the Three of Swords. Look how close the Emperor is to that. Wow. I don't know. Maybe at one time an Emperor broke your heart. But now it's healed. But what I was going to say in the Four of Swords, what we want to remember is the three swords that are pierced our heart. It's healing that. It's healing your heart. But there's one sword that we lie upon. That's of our own making. And it's the healing of that also. But look at that. The Emperor. Healing. You. Healing. And then we have the Sun. It's shown in reverse. But in reverse or in the upright, it doesn't even matter. Because the Sun is your illuminator. And, you know, I have a feeling it's in reverse because you may have retreated. You may have, like, retreated within your house. And maybe that's what you needed. But remember, the Sun is like a brand new day. And it is your illuminator. I would say the only thing to be careful of is that you're paying attention to your intuition. Double Leo on the board now. Can't tell if I got two or one. Hello, magician. Wow. And look at this. Come on. The Empress. The Empress and the Emperor are mirroring each other. The Empress is carrying the magician again. Again. These two have the potential of greatness. They really do. There does seem to be an element that needed healing. And I do feel part of it is you, but I also feel part of it is the other person in the lovers. I can't believe we just got the Emperor and the Empress out, and they're marrying each other, and the Empress is carrying the magician again. What a powerful reading. What a powerful reading, Scorpio. You know, this is not something that just happened overnight. This came through because of your reflection. Because you now clearly know what you want and what you don't want. Because you are creating boundaries, not walls. And it just is like saying to someone or anyone, to be in my life, you must be of a certain vibration. And I'm talking about those who are going to be in your life. I'm not saying those that you're going to help, because of course they're not quite where you're at. But you can help them get there. That's just the power you carry. And that's just natural. But your power is amped up like tenfold. This is so beautiful. All right, let's bring out the clarifying love situations. I'm just blown away that the Emperor and the Empress are mirroring each other, and the Emperor and the Empress, you know, the last card, the last card. The Magician connected to the Empress again. See if anything else wants to come out. Okay. All right. We have awakened rebirth. Become conscious, stay aware, and embrace the renewal of your essence. Wow. Become conscious, stay aware, and embrace the renewal of your essence. And then hanging on, release the past and let yourself love again. Wow. Release the past and let yourself love again. All right, let's bring out the romance angels. I'm saying it like that because, it's interesting. I've been reading tarot for so long, but each and every time I read, it's like I am watching a new movie. I'm reading a new book, and I'm reading the book of Scorpio right now, and it is interesting. All right, let's give them a cut. How am I going to let you know what is in this reading? Attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. That's exactly what Judgment speaks about also. Don't sweat the small stuff. What matters, what doesn't really matter. I love how she's smelling the roses. Engagement. Well, your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. So let yourself love again, and then your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Let go of control issues. Allow this situation to unfold naturally. That's a hard thing for many of us to do, to really let go of control. But I want to remind you how divine is really guiding you and guiding everything. So when it says allow the situation to unfold naturally, I definitely feel like it's talking about love. But it's also, when we go back a card, it's also talking about how love is ascending to a higher level. Well, of course it is. There's no way the Emperor and the Empress, if they're connected romantically, they have every chance of really living in a very loving, high vibrational energy together. And then we have retreat. Well, I feel like this is part of, well, mainly the energy I feel like you've been through, but I feel like this may be what you're finishing up in August. It's time to disconnect from the world. And that is probably also why the sun is in reverse. But I also want you to notice that this person is walking out in nature, probably her favorite spot, and she's talking to someone. And I don't feel like this is someone who is in physical form, though we see him in physical form. I definitely feel it's one of your spiritual guides. And I feel like their messages can truly bring you real comfort. Hmm. You know, I'm looking at this guy who is connected to this woman, or he's in a room with this woman and this child. And I feel like he's trying to win the woman over. But it's almost like, well, you also have to win the child over. For some of you, what I'm saying is I feel like you come as a package deal, and that's that. You know what I mean? Like, that's that. And I feel like whoever this man, though, could be a woman, is, they realize that. And it's almost like I understand that, you know, it's like I need the approval of your child or children. Or let me put it this way, if my child or children don't feel good about you, chances are neither will I. But I feel like someone understands that. But not just understands that. I feel like they probably wouldn't have it any other way. And by the way, if they have kids, I feel you would do the same. Right? Like, they're a package deal, you're a package deal. And I know that's not for everyone. Interesting how I feel like she's just walking along and then she sees him. So this person may like come out of the blue, though there's angels influencing not only this man, but this woman. And it's coming right before your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Jeez. I mean, what a beautiful reading. Number one, I feel proud of the work that you've already done. And, I still am trying to find a better word than work because I feel like this is about your spiritual growth. This is definitely showing the hardships you've been through, but it's also showing the blessings that are ready to open. I feel like once you feel powerful within yourself, then I feel like everything begins. Everything begins. And that is the Ten of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles. And that Ace of Pentacles, by the way, remember how I said that it literally can send off shoots of new seeds and they can blossom. Same with the Ten of Pentacles. And it's showing why you have the Ten of Pentacles. It is your creative self. It is how you work and how good you are at it. But then the lovers marrying each other. Here I am. I'm just going to end up going to redo the whole reading. So I'm going to let it be. I'm going to let it be. And I want to thank your guides for such a beautiful reading. But it is you. It is you that is opening up this next chapter. It's you. So I feel like not only am I proud of you, but my God, your spirit guides must be so proud. And if you feel like you are still, like, let's say, in the Ten of Wands, then use these readings as like a roadmap because that's what they are. And if there was nothing hard, let's just say everything was great, I don't know that that would be real life. So wherever you're at in the reading, use it as a roadmap to get to where it is you want. All right, I'm going to let that be. I loved your reading. Truly loved it. I think I say that after every reading, but my gosh, I feel like your reading takes the cake. Your reading takes the cake. And I could not be happier for you. I love you guys. I thank you so much. I will see you next time at our table. Please leave me your comments. Let me know how this relates to you. I would love to hear your story, especially if this relates to you. Like, where are you in the reading? And always trust your own intuition also. But power is the name of your reading. I love you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye-bye.